Happy Saturday. I think we've made it. I think we're here. Are we here? I never know. All right, let me check over here. Yes, we are here. We are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Whew. I made it. I was trying not to rush to stress myself out, but trying to rush too, because I wanted to get here earlier. So, did it. So, whew, sigh of relief. Oh, hi, Tarot Goddess. Thanks for being here. It's nice to see you. Happy Saturday. It's a happy Saturday. Is that a song? Or did I just make that up? I think I might have just made that up. Oh well. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta write stuff down so that I don't forget. We need to look at 182 because that was our vibration from last week. And we're going to look at vibrations for Lotto's baby, because it's interesting. We're not gonna talk about the love triangle stuff though, because that's just too much, and everybody's talking about that. Um, and then we're gonna talk more about names, names, and personas. Okay, had to get that out, so I don't forget what the heck I'm talking about. Hi, Ron. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Anybody got anything else to add to this list? I mean, I'll wait, of course, a few moments because I was rushing to get here and I did just like pop on. You know, you know how we do. Hopefully, everyone's having a good Saturday. Weekend is going well. Hi, Judy. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. I just can't. So, the next time we get together on live on YouTube, so like next week, Friday, Saturday, it'll be April. That's rude. That's just how? How did we get to April already? That's insane. I don't understand it. So we talked about like all the energy that was coming in. So yesterday we talked about all this extra energy that is coming in and is in our space. Um and I'm definitely feeling it. So, it's super crazy. I am going to try, I'm going to try and keep this shorter than usual, which really isn't that short. But because I am feeling like I could maybe get a really good nap in today, which hasn't been happening. So might need to use the energy here and then go sleep. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. All right. Do we have anything else to add? We usually try and stick to three things, but we can add a fourth if there's one that fits. I went back and forth about adding more of the J. Cole interview stuff, but it doesn't seem like he's done yet. So maybe we wait until he's done and then we can look at the vibrations of all of the interviews and all of it together. But you let me know. Or if there's anything else you would like to add to this list, let me know. I'm going to get some water. I don't know what happened. Like since yesterday, I cannot drink water. I keep like almost choking myself because for some reason I start to talk or breathe while I'm drinking water. It's craziness. Craziness. Hi, Josh. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Glad you could make it. Okay, we'll leave this list for now, but let me know if there's anything else that we should add, or if while we're talking about other subjects, anything else comes up. So, one of the things that made this week really interesting is this 182. So we always have a number of vibration that we use to build up our awareness of our connections to vibration and energy and how our energy is interacting with vibrations outside of us. But this week was one of the first times where I had a massive amount of interaction with this 182. And I think it's because this is an 11. So I don't know why I like to sit here and like I don't have a whiteboard to write on. So this 182. So when we add these up, we get the 11 2. And we know we keep seeing and running into this vibrational story of 11 to 2. This vibrational story around this duality, division, and like polarization is like a big one, like a big word that keeps coming up in relation to like this 11. I'm not gonna write it though because I don't know if I could spell it. I can say it though. And how we're needing to recognize where this duality is and what those extremes are and why they exist, so then we are able to get to a place where we're able to end that division, that duality, and end the polarization. But what I was realizing also, a lot this week, but probably a little bit before also, is that this too is really like a whole new path. It's brand new. It's not like anything else that we have seen or experienced. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle with it, because all of this new energy with these ones and then being in a year of a 10 and a 1 is bringing in all this new energy where we can create things, create paths that are completely different from what we've seen before. And that's how we can end this duality, this division. But we don't necessarily know what it looks like. And I think that's really interesting. Oh, hi, Rumble. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh, I was about to say, cousin B here, I didn't see him. Oh, just for when he joins. Okay. We'll just say hello to cousin B early. I'm glad you could make it. So this story of 11 to 2 is very loud right now, and it has been very loud because what we've seen over probably the last, I don't know, 7 to 10 years is that it's become much more obvious where there are divisions. And it's not because those divisions had never been there before, but it was like a spotlight was putting on them, where like different things were happening, different events were happening, different interactions were happening. Social media in general was happening, so that everything was recorded and put on display, where we were inundated in seeing these divisions, seeing duality in real life all the time. But now we really are at a place where we're getting all this new energy in, and so there's no reason why we can't start moving towards the two. Also, because there's always more, this 82 is the numerical vibration of the word portal, but also gateway. So to get from one place to another, to like have this transformation that is going to end this division, we have to go through like this portal way. We have to go through this change in vibration. Oh, there's Cousin B. Hi, Cousin B. Thanks for being here. It's good to see ya. So we have this 82 embedded in here as well. I did, because it was so crazy that I had so many encounters with 182, I did make a list. So before I show you that, there's one other thing I want to make sure to say. That 182, especially right now, because this 11 to 2 story is so loud, I'm seeing 182. It's moving and operating in the way like this. Okay, let me draw. Don't talk yet. Okay, it's moving in this way where these vibrations are very, very active. So this 1, the 2, and the 8 vibration are extremely active and moving. And so what that does is you can encounter 182 vibration and then immediately encounter like 128, because it's these same vibrations and they're just moving so much that now we're seeing these parallel forms of the same vibration, of this same vibrational story that's being told. So like 128, 182, 218, 281, 812. I haven't seen these big ones as much, or 821. But like these have been extremely active this week. Extremely active this week. So when we're looking at these vibrations, like our weekly vibrations, we can also start thinking about and looking for these parallels as well. Hi, Doc! Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Welcome in. So let me go here, because I already put this together. Whoa. It moves so fast sometimes, it freaks me out. So, what I put together was just this. Hey, I just see a misspelling, and I gotta fix it right away, or it's gonna bother me. So let me fix this. This is not Ned. Ned was not part of this conversation, at least not this time. It's Need. Oh, yeah, that's right, Cousin B. You're doing that shirt giveaway tonight. Oh, yes. I forgot about that. But I'm happy. That's a happy reminder. That's going to be great. Well, I'll have to make sure to get there. Yeah, I remember that, Josh. Hopefully this one will go better. Um, so on the left here, these are all from this week. So these came out just this week. And then here on the right, these are ones that I had previously. So we'll just call them old. But kind of related to what we were seeing this week or in the last few weeks. And so this vibration of needing to look at how to end the division, like beginning to have these discussions and coming together to figure out how to bring this to an end, is opening up. So even just talking about it is opening up this portal way, this opportunity to change in vibrational expression, so we can get to a place where we can look at the energy of the past. That's this 8. We can look at this repeating energy and figure out where we can apply the new energy in order to end the division, like go into this whole story of 11 to 2. The ways that this resonated this week were in looking at true medicine healing was one phrase that came out of looking like what is healing truly. And is there a way to have true healing even with medicine? Because I'm pretty holistic in what I use for my my own medical needs, but I'm not against medicine. Like, I do think it's necessary, but it's necessary in making sure that it is actually helping and creating healing. We actually talked about yesterday how, with all this new energy coming in, the ways that we heal are probably going to be changing. And so that's part of this, is that true medicine healing. Also, this phrase, to not be neutral. This came from, I don't even remember what I was watching, but I was reminded of an interview a while ago. I think it was years ago, where Pusha T did an interview where he was talking about not playing neutral, not being in this neutral position, and what that actually means. And when this came out, then there was this discussion, of course, in my own head with myself, me, myself, and I, around what it actually meant to be neutral. And is this too really a neutral stance? Like, could you be neutral just in your acceptance of what the extremes are and the new path that's needing to be taken, without feeling like you're having to choose sides or that you're going against what you morally believe? So that was an interesting discussion in my head, of course. But then also, this find own direction, and the addition of this word own, because we are constantly seeing where people will say that need to change direction, or you are misdirected, or you need to be redirected. But actually taking responsibility for it and claiming it with this word own, some seem to be really important this week. And also to change a narrative. We actually heard a lot of this, not just this week, but last week as well, especially in the hip hop space, around what is the narrative? How do you change a narrative? And can you change a narrative? And can you change a narrative without being authentic? Interesting to think about. So then on the old side, these are just some that have these vibrations of 182 that have come and surfaced before that just seemed like they fit with this week. So this release of resistance. So by releasing the resistance to changing how we're interacting, like with this new energy, or your resistance to anything, is allowing the energy to flow. And so that's important. This flow of awareness is coming in quite strong right now, because we talked about this again last night about how going into a place of awareness allows us to begin to be more intentional in how we use our energy, and how we interact with energy and vibration. This need for law and order just seemed like it fit, especially because I think today was the all the no kings protests again. So again, this discussion of what is law and order, and is there a need for it? Is it a need or is it a want? And we did talk about a change in perspective yesterday, but change in perception is resonating at this 182 also. So 182 was pretty active this week. So I don't know if you all had any interactions or saw 182, but it was pretty active this week. Saw it a lot in like the number of viewers, the number of views throughout videos. Yeah, it came up a lot. At least I caught it a lot. Okay. That was a lot more talking than usual for around this number, but that's okay. Yes. Yes, Josh. Yeah, I was actually surprised when I went back and looked in my journal to see if 182 had come up. Because I knew it had come up a few times, but I was surprised to see how many times. Because I think it actually came up even more if I had gone back in my journal for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. We would have had even more phrases to put here, but I wanted to focus on the last week. Yeah, interesting. It was very interesting. Okay, where's our list? Can't lose the list already. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't. It's right here. Okay. So let's just stick in order. And because we had the interesting lotto announcement of the baby of her being pregnant and a baby coming. But I thought it was a good opportunity because I mean, we've talked about like these love triangles before, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling like talking about another one. But I did want to talk about and show a little bit about how you can see where the vibrations and the core vibrations of parents actually do impact a child, and like when a child is actually born. So I thought that would be interesting for us to look at. So let's do that. We're gonna ease on down the road. Let me get water. Ease on down the road. somebody finish the rest. I know you're singing at home. All right. So, let's go. Oh my gosh, I almost started singing Dora the Explorer. What the heck? My brain is always like super active. It is overactive today. There is this whew, massive amount of energy is doing something real wonky in my brain. It's okay though. At least I'm used to it. All right. So, how we're going to look at this is let's look at first. Yeah, we can look at Lotto first because we can look at her okay, good. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Let's look at Lotto first because we can also look at the dates and like her album name and how those resonate as well. So, Lotto. Oh, I'm so glad she changed her name because I don't know if you remember when she first came out, her name was not Lotto. I mean, Lotto was part of it, but it was not. It was not Lotto. I didn't like that name, but okay. I digress. Lotto actually has December 22nd birthday. Um, which is that's Baby Love's birthday too. It's the day before mine, and it's Baby Love's birthday too. But Baby Love is not okay. Continue. Sorry, I digress again. And she was born in 1998. So let's look at her vibrations here. So first, for her name, if we use our little code where A equals 1 and we go all the way to Z equals 26, her name is 68. And then for life path numbers, we always look at the year first. So we take the year and we add up its digits. Sorry. Told you something different today. Overactive. So 1998 is 27. So then we do 12 plus 22 plus 27. So before we do this addition, just man, look at all these twos. We've got the 2 and the 12. We got the double 2 here, where this double 22 is that vibration of the teacher. So handing out lessons. And then we have the 2 here. And it's interesting because I didn't think about this before till just now. But I know this is just her year. But we have a lot of artists that are born in this 1998. Well, these newer artists, these newer generation artists. And this 1998 27 is a mirror image of 72, which is the numerical vibration of the name hip hop. So that would mean that this year, the vibration of this year being in some of these younger artists is like a mere reflection of some of the lessons that hip hop needs to learn. But also vice versa, that within hip hop, this generation from 1998 are able to learn more of the lessons that are being reflected to them. And with all these twos, it's definitely like whew, especially here, it's that ending division, understanding the extremes, and when you're going to the extremes when you shouldn't. So that's interesting. Okay. When we add this up, so 12 plus 22 plus 27, we get 61. So we'll put this in blue again. And when we add that to 68, then we get our 129, where it has that 2 in there again. And this is going to 12 and a 3. So while her life path number is this 7, this taking action in vibrational flow, these 2s that she has in the 12 of December, the 22 in the date, but then also that 27 that's coming from that year, are very, very dominating. Where it very much feels like her life path number of the 7 is kind of being diminished by all of these 2s, which is interesting. But let's also look at because she has her new album, which she announced with her big prego belly, Big Mama. And when we use our code, so A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, this equals 46. So we do have the resonating here of this 6, where we have the 6 in both the life path number and the name, and then also here. But remember that 6, because it's neutral, it creates comfort, but also creates discomfort. But it would mean that she's probably not uncomfortable being uncomfortable. Which I think we kind of saw this week. And she's not uncomfortable with shaking up people's comfort zones. And so this album, just by the name, would do the same, especially with the 6 being here in this first position. The first thing is to disrupt comfort zones. And then while that disruption is happening, bring in lessons around stability and foundation and what that actually means. The date that she gave was, oh, let me use different color. Different color. May 29th, 2026. Which when I first saw this and her pregnant belly, I was like, ooh, girl, I don't know if you're going to make it to that. I hope that album's done. Which it should be, actually, at this point. But, whew, this is going to be really close to probably when she's due. Maybe a month after. But when we add this up, we get 44. So while the 6 is highlighted and amplified by the 6s in her name and in her life path number, This 44, this 4 in the name, is highlighted by the date. The thing that caught my attention, though, was the way that this was announced, and the controversy that came up around it, around her pregnancy and who she was pregnant by, and is he married or not married, and all of that jazz. It drew my attention to that the fact that this 44 is all about stability and foundation. So it can be a very family oriented number or vibration. But 6 is actually more close to what family feels like. But 44 is the numeric vibration of the word karma. So, like, ooh, girl, are you what are you bringing upon yourself? Um, so it'll be interesting to see when we add these together. So 46 to 44, we get 90. So here's the 9 coming in again here from this addition. So, that's what we usually look at. All interesting and good. But I also wanted to I wanted to show you, because we don't get many opportunities to look at all these different things that can be done with vibration, and understanding vibration. But I wanted to look at 21 Savage also. And actually, let me change this color because this is going to be the connection here. And then down here, boop, 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 boop. This will be the baby. And so let's look at 21 Savage. So 21 Savage, it's already interesting because he has this number 21 in his name. And we can already see this 21 is a mirror image to this 12, where Lotto plus her life path number is. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, Josh. Yes. But we already have this mirror imaging happening, where this is where in these vibrations, this could be a really good thing or a really bad thing. So it's like when you have vibrations that are mirror images of each other between two people, and this goes for like if it's between two countries or between two groups of people, whatever, you are being shown the reflection of that vibration. So they're being shown the vibration of themselves, to each other. Now, if what you see is all the things that you love about yourself, or that you magnify about yourself, then of course you're going to embrace what you see in that reflection. But that means any of the things that you don't like about yourselves, or the things that you want to keep secret, this other person can put those on display with this vibration of reflection. So just having this 21 in his name is a really strong connection point between them, because this 12 is right here from her name and her life path number. But it could be a really good thing, or it can make things very volatile. And I don't know why I chose volatile, but that's the word that came out. So that's what the universe says. But 21 Savage, when we use our code for Savage, resonates at a 76. Yep, had to check. And then here's where, I don't know, for me, it got really interesting. 21 Savage's birthday is October 22nd, 1992. So here again, we are seeing like this crazy amount of twos. So he has the 22, just the same as Lotto does, but then he was born in 92. So we have the 2 there as well, whereas Lotto has the 2 once the year vibrations are coming together. I'm trying not to look at the chat because I'm trying to be serious. I'm serious right now. We're talking about serious things, you know. You know. So there's all of this, like these 2s. He has the 2 in his name. She has the 2 here in these additions. Like, man, 2s all over the place. And so it's very much resonating with this 2 of needing to end the divisions and the polarization. So I can see where they both would very much feel like them coming together, whether to just make a baby or more, was like a way of ending division, a way of ending some of the duality that they were feeling in their lives. But there's something interesting here happening. So even if we just look at the days that they were born, because they were both born on the 22nd. So if we take so we have the 22nd for one, and then we have the 22nd for the other. But what happens is this 2, because they're in this orientation, they're actually acting very much like 11. Let me see if there's a better way to explain it. So it's kind of like each of these 2s is splitting to make an 11. And so what's happening is there's a lot of shifting in between 2 and 11. So while the 2 can like bring them together, there's a lot of like it's like a lot of like back and forth of like breaking up and then together, breaking up and then together. There's division, there's duality, and then there's not. There's division and duality in the 11, and then there's not with the 2. And the 2 is what keeps bringing them together. But then the division that even them being together is creating shoots these 2s back out to this 11. So it's interesting to look at, where it's like these 2s are there, but they're not stable. And so they keep reverting back to like a dualistic state. And it's both of them contributing to that, because they both have all these 2s. They both have all these 2s in their vibrations. So then if we do this life path number for 21 Savage. So we add up the year and then add the date. We get 53. So this goes to 53. And here's where it starts getting even a little bit more scary. Because if we do 76, I need a different color. I need a different color. Different color. Here we go. So we do 76 plus 53. It equals 129. Ew. Creepy. So both of them have the exact same 129 when they are adding up their names and their life path numbers. Of course, I had a feeling that was going to happen. It's all good. We don't have much more. So like this is wow. Like this is crazy attraction. This is like because it's the exact same vibration. Um it's like when we talk about portals where those vibrations that are the same, they keep attracting each other and wanting to be near each other, and that's what's creating all of that movement. Oh, that's definitely happening here. So it's this 129 that is creating that movement that is causing those twos to be together and then break apart. Like the movement between these two in the energy is really crazy looking because it's very highly active. You don't see that very often. Where it's yeah, it's like they probably even if they don't say it to all of us, they probably talk about how they're exactly the same. Like these would be when you would say, "Oh, that's my twin." Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like vibrationally, literally your twin. Like exact vibrational same vibration here. But this is also a good example of how these other vibrations within our core vibrations. So, looking at our astrology, looking at our own parents and like our generational vibrations that are coming with us, how they do make us unique. And our experiences do make us unique. So, even when there are these exact vibrations like this, it causes a great, strong attraction. But there's enough differences where then that's what causes the division because they expect each other to be exactly the same and to think like each other and act like each other and be exactly the same because that's how these vibrations feel. But there's a lot more vibrations that are interacting here. So let's break down their relationship a little bit differently because with this 129 there's not really a reason to add those together in that way because they're gonna want to just keep resonating where they are the exact same. But let's look at their names. So we look at their names, so 68 plus 76, we get, oh my gosh, why can't I see? 144. And here again is that 44. that vibration of the word karma. So their names are just invoking this vibration of karma. And karma is one of the few words that I've found where it resonates at 44, which goes to an 8. And 8 is the vibration of karma. So very strong. But then if we look at their life path numbers, where we do 61 plus 53, we get 114, which here again is another 6. So all of these 6s on her side would resonate stronger and be amplified there. But 114 is the numeric vibration of the phrase the tower. So a lot of big moving energy that's coming together and breaking apart, coming together and breaking apart. A lot of movement because you've got these exact same vibrations that are like literally creating whirlpools of vibration and energy. And now you have these vibrations of karma and the tower coming in here again. This is a crazy combination of vibrations. I can see exactly why they would be attracted to each other. But it's whew, like that's a lot of vibration to learn how to control. And they'd have to learn how to control it together. Like one person is not gonna be able to control all that because that's insane. Okay. But what this also can show us is how we can do some predictions of what is going to be happening with this baby. And it's fun to say it that way, baby. Little baby. So the first thing to recognize is that both parents are on the cusp of signs, where this December 22nd is on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. This October 22nd is on the cusp between Libra and Scorpio. And you usually only need one cusp parent to have a child that is also born on a cusp. So, like for myself, I'm on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, and both of my girls are on the cusp of their signs as well. So you usually only need one parent to be on the cusp, but here both of them are on the cusp. And so when it's reported that she is potentially due April, like end of April, early May 2026. So coming up very quickly here. That's why I said, I don't know. This album is going to get out before. But it's a high likelihood that this baby would be born in the cusp between Aries and Taurus, which would be between April 16th to April 22nd. And then I thought, whoa, wouldn't it be crazy if they both are born on the 22nd day and then their baby is born on the 22nd day? Because it's like high probability high probability here that it could be. And if that's the case, so if we look at, yeah, 22 would be crazy, but that would be on this cusp. That would be on this cusp. And so, and this is the cusp of Aries, Taurus. And so if it's April 22nd, 2026, I need to move the screen up because I wrote too big. Okay. Then, like, the 22nd would be crazy, but it's like actually a very high likelihood that that would happen because of the vibrations that they're each contributing, and because how strong. If anything, it may not be the 22nd, but it'll be in the 20s. I bet it'll be in the 20s because the 2 is just so dominant in their vibrations. But then if we do 4 plus 22 plus 10, the first thing that I noticed was that this 4 and 22 is giving us 26, which is that resonating of that small g god. So you could, if the 22nd is it, then this is that vibration of this 26, and it's here in the year, which would put this baby in a position where this baby could be spoiled, like super spoiled, like treated like a god, essentially. And this god energy is the energy that you have control over. But whew, that child would be hard to control because all of this amplified god energy, and in this right on this cusp of Aries, of leadership, and Taurus, and we have all of these Aries energy being amplified right now. So we have Saturn in Aries, we have Neptune in Aries, we also have Chiron, the wounded healer, still in Aries as well at this time. So Aries, baby, that would be insane. They would, and it has the 26s in here. That baby would be crazy vibrationally powerful. Not to say like it could be like, you know, babies aren't born like a bad person or anything, and all of this energy isn't inherently bad, it's inherently neutral, and then based on the parents and the environment and the experiences, then that'll shape what these vibrations do and how they come into play. But if we add all of this up, then we get to this 36 vibration, which will bring on this 9. So this baby, if born on the 22nd, would have all of these strong vibrations of 26 in the sign of Aries. So yeah, just very strong amplified vibrations, and would have a life path number of 9, where there's a breaking up of these comfort zones, so making people very uncomfortable, which forces them to grow, and in that growth brings an end to cycles, so an end of the way things that were happening. And that could be huge for them in this relationship because there's so much cycling energy with all of these 8s, these 44s, these 8s, the way the 2s are behaving. So literally, this baby could make or break them, especially if the baby's born on the 22nd. I thought this was really interesting, but kind of crazy to look at. The other crazy date was April 19th, because if the baby is born on April 19th, which is still in that cusp window, then its life path number would be 33. And 33 is the master teacher. So bringing in the vibration of all these lessons that need to be learned. Let me move this so you can actually see what I'm writing. I just wrote so big. I can't fit it all on screen. So, there you go. So you can look at some of the placements of these vibrations in the parents to get some information about this baby as well. So, interesting stuff. Thanks, Josh. It was nice to come at this from a different angle. Oh, I just saw this too. But it's nice coming to this from a different angle, so because everybody's just talking about their relationship. But look, they both have this 129, this 29, and then look at the date of when her album. So there's another one, the 29th. Interesting, huh? Interesting. Okay. Let's talk about names and persona. And then we'll get out of here to go to Koala's Live. All right, let's talk about names and persona. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is so funny. I'm not gonna be able to unsee that. Let me get some water. Hilarious. Mm-mm. The baby Dorito. It is so crazy, Judy. It does make me want to look at. Okay, we'll look at it real quick. So Dorito is 4 plus 15 plus 18 plus 1 plus 20 plus 15 is 81. So a 9. So 81 with like the 36 is 117, which is another 9. Which is a little bit too close to comfort for close to that 114 of the tower for me. Okay. Let's. So last week we started talking about the use of a name. And I think it was perfect timing because then we started seeing more and more of these different interviews coming out. So we saw more J. Cole interviews. We saw Jay-Z's interview. And there's like a lot of people getting interviewed in hip hop this week, or doing interviews this week. And so that adds to our discussion. But I think what we need to start with is this difference between a name and a persona. So you have, so we all have like the name that we are given. And it's at the core of who we are. But then we can always change our names. This is the one core vibration where we can change it. We can change it. And so then that changes the vibration that we are exuding out and how that vibration is being used. But regardless of how we change our name, there's still a connection to this previous name. So you can change these names all around. But it's not very often that you would change your first name. You might just change your last name. But also, there's always going to be this connection to this vibrational hold, whether it's because it's on your birth certificate, whether it's because your family calls you by that given name. There's still this connection vibrationally to your name. And name, so actual with the letters. So if we use our code where A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, your name resonates at 33, which goes to a 6 of comfort. So we're always having some kind of connection to our name, to our given name in some way. But then we could change our name so that we have a persona. Now, if we do our code again, so A is 1 all the way to Z is 26, this word persona resonates at 88, which we've been seeing a whole lot because it adds up to a 16 of the tower. So here we are again. So having this persona is giving this potential for previous old energy to come back in. So this cycling energy can come back in. Where is it coming in from? From this core of your name, of who you were before you were this persona. And that could potentially create this tower where things are on shaky ground. What can make this not be a tower, or like not a tower that's necessarily going to fall as quickly, is how authentic, so how much of the name is actually connected to this persona. So how strong is this bond? Because then what happens with these 88s, when this energy is circling back around, because it is that reap what you sow karma energy, when it's circling back around to the name, this bond between your name and your persona is strengthened by your authenticity. And your authenticity comes from the core of who you are. So not necessarily just your given name, but those core vibrations of who you are. So how much of that authenticity is included within this persona is going to make it very clear how strong this persona is a part of who you actually are. Because whether we like it or not, any of our personas are in some ways part of us. So it's just like if you think about or you hear these interviews of like these famous actors where they are having to take on this character. They usually do not step into a character role that isn't authentic to who they actually are in some way. They need to make that connection to that character based off of who they actually are. Because if they don't, then for us, the audience, it's very clear where it's like, yeah, that's not a new character. That's just the actor playing themselves. And so then it breaks some of that magic of stepping into those characters. So some of the best actors and actresses are included in actors are those that are able to maintain enough of their authenticity of who they actually are within their character personas um, to make that persona more authentic. Yeah. Always defeat the 88. So that was an interesting thought that was happening this week as we were looking at these different personas that were being put out in place and people talking about, was this a persona? Was it you? Well, every persona should have some level of authenticity to you. And same thing with changing your name. Like, we don't, you wouldn't see people regularly changing their name to a name that does not fit them. You know, we talk about it fitting. This name fits, or your name doesn't fit. It's how does the vibrations of those names actually match up with that authenticity of the core vibration of who you are. And same with the persona. So if there also are people that take on a persona and it actually is very tied closely to who they are, but then they try to tell you that it's not, we can see that also. Even though more likely we see it the other way, where the persona is like, because it's just weird. I know we all have met somebody or heard about somebody or witnessed somebody where it's like they're here and you're like, oh, I know this is who you are. Like, I can feel this vibration of this is who you are, but you're trying to give me this persona or like just this who you are out here, and it's completely separate from actually who you are. Like, there's no connection. And you're like, yeah, no, you're a big fat liar because that doesn't fit at all. Like, that makes no kind of sense. And so when we're looking at ourselves and looking at like not just the names we're taking on, but those personas that we're taking on, we have to look at how much of it links back to who we are authentically. And if we're using the persona as like a mask or to hide who we are authentically, then it's going to be seen as a mask. Um, it's not going to be seen as authentic. Also, that means that then you're less likely to be able to, so if there's not a lot of authenticity in your persona, and so there's not a strong connection to your original name, now you're not necessarily going to be able to extract the power that there is in your name. So, power resonates at 77. Name resonates at 33. If we add these together, name power, so the power of your name is 110, which is the numeric vibration of the word purpose. So if your persona is not strongly connected to your name or to who you are at your core, now you're not able to access that power that you have in the energy of your name and your purpose. So now you have this persona just kind of hanging out there, and it's not fulfilling a greater purpose for who you are. It's not contributing a greater purpose to the vibrational collective of the whole. And you are then ostracized usually. You're accepted by those who also are hiding behind a persona, but you're ostracized by those who really need the authenticity of your purpose. Let's see. I think that's all for that part. Oh, I will just put, because we saw 196 yesterday, this phrase, the power, because we saw this last week too. Ew. Okay, there you go. The power of the name. Remember that this is creating a huge portal where it's amplifying the power of this part of the phrase. But all of this adds up to 197. So now the power of the name, because this 97 is also a 16, but the power of the name can be enough. So if you are authentic enough in your persona and its connection to who you are at your core, the power of the name can now engulf or like diminish this tower. So this is how, again, how that tower of the persona could actually not be a problem. It's gonna fall. But this is kind of saying, like, if you're super authentic to who you are, it's like your tower is, 3 blocks high. So when it falls, it doesn't actually change who you are. When the persona is not encompassed by this power of the name through authenticity, now when that tower falls, it like falls so hard that people don't even know who you are. It could change who you are. It could change how you're seen. Because now you've broken the only link to your most authentic self, and it wasn't even a very strong one. So all that is extremely interesting, especially with the conversations we've been having this week in hip hop and with all of these interviews. And so then we're going to get back to our example of looking at Baby Keem and his use of these name changes. We've seen a lot of artists, well, in most artists, and not just in hip hop, but in many different genres and across art forms, tend to change their name to represent their art form or the art that they are producing from that persona. They have the persona of the artist. But again, how closely tied that is will actually make it more powerful or not. So all of the personas, all of the names that you use should actually be strongly connected to the core of who you are. And you can do that by connecting it to your actual name. So Baby Keem's first name is Hakeem. And when we use our code, so A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, his name resonates at 67. 67 is, I don't know why it turned out like that. I don't like it. Ew! I like that less. Sorry, I gotta fix it. It's gonna drive me crazy. 67 is the vibration. Yeah, you got it, Josh, of the word soul. So the core name that he's actually carrying resonates with this soul vibration. So that's why each of these personas, the more it's connected to who he is at his core, it can feel more soulful. It can take on more of that soul identity. And so then the persona becomes more authentic. Yeah. But also, 67 is the numeric vibration of the word water. And so the more of his authentic vibration that goes into those personas, it's going to flow easier. So you would see him flowing in and out of those names and the persona with ease. Like he's not having to stick in one or the other, but he's able to flow between them, especially when they are him. So when they're connected to who he is. And so the artist persona that he has been going by is Baby Keem. And Baby Keem resonates at 64. So we already see here that his artist persona has some very strong connections to the core of who he is in his name. So we have the 6 here, where both of these sixes are going to have that strong connection, but he's created an even stronger connection here in Keem is literally from his name. And so now here's that authenticity that's coming in and making it so even though he's taking on this artist persona and this different name, it doesn't feel like it's outside of himself. It's like, yeah, that's who he is. And so we have this one connection. Now, to look at the relationship that somebody has with any of their personas, we can add the names together just like we would in a relationship with an outside person. So if we look at 67 plus 64, 64 plus 67 is 131. So now, when he has this strong, authentic connection between him and his artist persona of Baby Keem, now he's able to create this portal. So bring in brand new energy, access new energy, so that he's always at the forefront of things. That's what this one energy does. But it also allows there to be an amplification of this three, which is to grow. And this is not just his own growth, it amplifies his own growth in using this persona, but it can also amplify the growth of those around him that identify with the persona more than necessarily the core of who he is. So when all of the fans are using Baby Keem in reference to him, they're getting to actually access this 131 energy and receiving that amplified vibration of growth and change, because that adds up to 5. So just even with this one, so for years we've only seen this one, and it's really only been with his last album. And that's not true, because with Melodic Blue there was some switching of personas, but not as much as what we've been seeing in Casino. So the second persona that we were really strongly introduced to was this one of Boo Man. And when we use our code, so A is 1 all the way to Z is 26, Boo Man is 60. So again, we have maintaining this 6 vibration here. And we know, because of how we were introduced to Boo Man through these documentaries, that the connection to the authentic who he is through the family, which is also that resonating 6. So 66 is the vibration of the word family. So he's amplifying that 6 vibration by showing us and giving us the connection of Boo Man to who he is authentically through the connection of his family. Also, when we look at how and when Boo Man has been used, so when he's been called Boo Man in any of the songs or the music videos, when he refers to himself as Boo Man, or even in all of those documentaries, we're seeing that he is opening up a vulnerable side of himself, which is like his inner child, which is part of the core of who you are. So that's actually a really big deal for somebody to do that and to give us that opening. If we were to look at this relationship between Hakeem here in the center with Boo Man, so 67 plus 60 is 127. This is drawing in, because this is a 10, is drawing in more of that new energy. So even with this Boo Man persona, as much as it's opening up this vulnerability around his inner child, but also this connection to his family and giving us access to that, it also is opening up and making space for some brand new energy. So even in this persona, when it's in its most authentic state, can draw in not just this new energy, but also this God universe energy. So this could be a really powerful persona when used correctly. Now, if we kept it here, where these are like the three main names, where it's the artist persona, it's like this inner child opening up vulnerability persona, and then the core of who he is. We'll move this down here because we're going to draw more on there. Then we can look at how those three together are working together. And so if we have 67 plus the 64 for Baby Keem, plus the 60 for Boo Man, this all adds up to 191. So here again, we have a very powerful portal, and we saw this in like his documentaries. We saw this throughout the Casino album of how these portal vibrations and energies were used to amplify messages, to amplify what was being told, and amplify how people felt in connection to him within his artistry, within his work. We see here that we have an amplification of all of this 6 energy, which is very powerful. And these 1 vibrations are amplifying this 9, which is the ending of cycles or ending of what was old. So with his core authentic self here in the middle, his most dominant persona of Baby Keem and who he is here, and bringing in that vulnerability of his inner child and his connection to family, he's actually able to really create a very powerful portal that will end old cycles, including generational cycles, generational curses, as they are sometimes called, but can change big, huge cycles. And this is not just like generational curses as we think it, but can change the cycles of like finances in a family. Like he speaks often about how he bought his grandmother a house and how she eventually was able to die in the house that he bought for her. That's the breaking of these cycles. He opened up and showed us what life was like for him in LA as a baby, and then in Vegas as an older child. And we can see that he's showing us, and through his artistry in Casino, is showing us how these cycles have been broken. So this is how you utilize the power of a name. So you're not just changing your name to changing your name for no reason, but you're really being more intentional about what name you're using, how you're using it, and why you're using it. Because now that's opening up that power that is held within that name. And also the purpose that your core authentic self holds within that space. So now there's even a bigger purpose being fulfilled by having these authentic personas and names that correlate with it. So I thought this was extremely interesting to be able to look at. Thank you, Josh, again for bringing this to my attention, because this is very interesting, and I think an important discussion, because a lot of the times when we change our name, we take it very lightly. where we say, "Oh, I changing my name because I just don't like my old one, or I'm changing my name because I'm married, or I'm changing my name because now I'm divorced." This is not something to take lightly, because how that name change is connected to the core of who you are can change how you actually are using the power that is held within your name, that core vibration of who you are. Very important to be aware of. I think I am going to I'll add these two here together because we have Wasim persona, but we also have Wasim spelled in a different way. And this, when we spell Wasim this way, is 65. And when we spell it this way, it's 66. So I wanted to put these together so that you could see that while both of these are holding that vibration of 6, and that's a big connection here to the middle, they are resonating just a little bit different. So a 65 versus a 66. And then we have this connection to 67. So it'll be interesting to start trying to see what are these personas? What are these Wasim personas? And how are they going to be used? And can they be used in the same way of this power structure that we have here with Baby Keem and Boo Man, and how that's resonating the power of the name. All right, I'm gonna get something to drink and see what you think. I know everybody's probably in dual dual lives. Tell Koala I said hello. um, but what do you think? Mm-mm. Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Uh, yes. Playing the Gemini, are we? Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I'll add these last two names on here, and then we will just continue this conversation um week over week, because I think we need to, well, I know at least I need to really think about um how these different personas are coming across, because he does move so seamlessly through these personas. um it's very interesting that we are able to, like, when somebody has a persona um and can't move as seamlessly through it, we can see when one persona begins and another ends. But he moves very smoothly through these personas, and it is that 67 vibration that's helping him do that. Yes. Yes, I agree, Josh. Well, and that's like what I think we need to realize. Like that's part of getting to an awareness of not just vibration and how vibration works, but that know thyself and having the awareness of your own vibrations, because you could be really doing yourself a disservice um, by changing your name and going into a persona that doesn't actually uh, hold a strong connection to the core of who you are. So I wanted to put these two kind of here off to the side because they still are personas, but where we have these four and really five with here in the center have this connection point of the six. These other two don't necessarily have that. And so then I think that's where more of our discussion can lie in how do you get to these connections to these personas that don't necessarily resonate in the same way. But we'll see how they do have connection points. So we have Wasim and we have Kim Wasim, where this is 99 and this one is 90. So we see here now we have kind of lost this six, where the six is that connection directly to this Hakim here in the middle and to family, which adds to that authenticity of who he is. But we see that now we're making these connections in a little bit of a different way where I need a color, need a color, need a color. Don't know what color to use. All right, we're using pink. Um, where here we are using this EEM. And here with Keem Wasim, we're using the KEEM. And I have seen people like, because I think Baby Keem used it maybe once where he actually said King Wasim, but I don't think it was in Casino. It might have been. But there was always this debate of whether he was saying Keem Wasim or King Wasim. But if we change this Keem to King, now we're losing the connection point back here to this authenticity place. Oh, is it in Circus Circus? Okay. But what we're doing is we're kind of losing. So now we're if this is King instead of Keem, now it's like there's a different connection point and it's more far away from this solid connection to that core name, to that core vibrational name. But these still are connected. Like we could still see how it's like none of these when he steps in this persona, we know it's still him. We've had this whole conversation, especially around the Birds and the Bees music video. If all of these different personas and these different parts of himself are what's being presented, and it's harder to tell because they all are very authentic and are very much the same. They all hold that power of that name, that core vibration. So this is a very interesting discussion because even just looking at the names alone, um, we can see how other artists take on this persona that doesn't necessarily connect or doesn't connect as strongly to the core of who they are. And so then when that persona falls, it's like a large chunk of their identity falls, and we don't know who they actually are. Because remember, persona is at 88, which is a tower. So you have to be aware that that persona can fall at any time. It's less likely that the core of who you are will fall, and more likely that it's your persona. But we have also seen in the last few years where these masks, these personas have fallen, and the core of who you are is nastier than the persona. But the persona was masking you, was masking these people. So interesting vibrations. I think we keep discussing this and looking at this in different ways. Um, I think the last thing I will add, and if there's anything for to be added, so Josh, if there's anything that you would like to add, any questions, anything else you want me to look at, and that's for Josh and anyone, let me know in the chat. And while you are doing that, I'm gonna put all of these personas and names here together. So 67, that's that core name. And then we have 64 of Boo Man, or no, of a Baby Keem. And we have 60 of Boo Man. And then we have 65 of Wasim, 66 of Wasim, spelled a different way. And then we have the 99 of Keem Wasim. And then we have of Wasim with a Y. And then these three core ones, this is where we were seeing that vibrational portal. Also, with these first two core ones, we also got a vibrational portal there. And then all together. Okay, great, Josh. Keep these ideas coming. Let me know what you're seeing because these have been really good. All of this together, so when we add all of this together, we get 511. So it's the recognition of the duality of who he is just as a person, recognizing where these personas are separate from who he is authentically and who his authentic self actually is. So understanding that duality that's within him and allowing for change to happen. So by understanding how each of these personas are encompassing a part of himself and presenting the personas in that way, that's what actually allows this vibration of 5, this change to actually happen. And not just the change of changing between these personas, but change of who he is as a person is allowed to begin to happen because he has a better understanding of who he is by fully understanding who his personas are and how he's using his personas. This in turn allows for this authentic self where the 7 is that perfect mix of masculine and feminine energy, which we all have. but this allows for this perfect mix of taking action in an outward masculine way, but also taking action in a very vulnerable, softer, more feminine kind of way. And having both of those be truly authentic to who he is. So, even in his choice of names for these different personas, we're seeing that we're getting to this seven, which we have been seeing is coming from that resonating of the power and power of the name. So, whew, good work today. That was good. Good stuff. All right. Are we ready for our new number for this week? Ready to spin? Woohoo! All right. All right, let me get to a blank space, and then I will just change our name. And it's not necessarily like that all the time. Okay, let's spin our wheel. Uh-oh, hopefully my loading isn't spinning still. Okay, that looked weird, but okay, I think I'm back. All right. So let me find our wheel. Where are you? I got way too many things open. Okay, good. Good. Thank you. I never know. All right, so we can be done with our 182. Let's make this bigger. All right. Okay, good. So if I'm good, then we're good to spin. Here we go. Spin that wheel. Woo! Wow. I don't know why that felt longer than usual, but it did. Okay. Again, we have this 97 coming up again. Okay, so the vibration for this week. So every week we get a new random number vibration that we're going to keep an eye out for, so that we can get some practice on recognizing the vibrations that are outside of us, and as we're getting some of these vibrational messages and interacting with vibration. So for this week, it's 697. We have this 97 again, but I think that's really because of that 16 of the tower. Is just very dominant right now because that's a dominant story, kind of like that 11 to 2 story that's coming through very strongly. This very much feels like we may see this number. It's not one that we would see as a time. So you would look for this 697. You could also look for 97, but it actually feels like what we'll actually see is more of this 22 energy, which we already saw a whole lot of 22 energy today. But it's this 22 energy, and it is feeling kind of like how I described it earlier, where 22 is the vibration of the teacher. So it's any of these vibrations that are coming in to teach us a lesson. But 22 is amplifying this vibration of 2, where it's this need to end the division or the duality. And we've been seeing this theme very strongly, not just in hip hop. Like, we see it in hip hop because part of shifting into this new place and this new space that hip hop is meant to be in is ending some of these divisions, this duality, this back and forth of like, um, what is hip hop, who hip hop is, what is culture, what is genre. Um, that needs to end. There needs to be strong stances taken on that, but we're also seeing this theme of needing to end division, duality, polarization, um, in almost like every area of our life. And so that's the vibration that I would look for. I would look for this 22. Where are you seeing 22 and interacting with 22? But also, where are you seeing that there needs to be an end of division, where the divisions that have been caused are really disrupting the stability? So there's an end to the divisions so that we can get to a place of stability. And this could be in your own personal lives, in the community around you, in the countries, in the world news, whatever. Because we are seeing this a lot. So just see if you can connect these vibrations to what you are actually experiencing. Because that's the point, is to try and really become more aware of the vibrations around us and how we're interacting with them. All right. This will be an interesting number. We'll see if it's as active as 182. Because, woof, that was active this week. Big time. All right. Well, thanks for being here today. This was great fun. I will be back live on Wednesday on Twitch. Just doing, I don't know what I'll be doing this week, but on Twitch on Wednesday night. And then I will be back here on YouTube on Friday and Saturday. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being here. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, please hit it on the way out. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon, because I'm around. I'll see you.